Welcome to the Rebel Matriarch Podcast. My name is Samantha Sanford and I am your host, and I want to invite you into this session with an open heart and an open mind, because this is not just a podcast. It is a global movement, a global uprising, and this is a representation of what is truly possible and available to women today. Hello, gorgeous human beings, and welcome to the Rebel Matriarch Podcast. I am your host, Samantha Sanford, and I am very excited to be bringing to you an extraordinary woman who goes by the name of Honey, which I absolutely love because it stands out and I can never forget the name. And we've just been having a little bit of a conversation, and she's got so much pizzazz and so much sass. And I feel a story brewing, and I'm so excited to bring your magic, your wisdom, your medicine to these women, Honey. So I'm so grateful to be having you on this podcast call. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here. And yeah, as we were just saying before we jumped on, it's been a stop-start process. We were booked, and then things happened. So now I'm finally meeting you and having this conversation. So I'm really excited to be here.
Yay! We're going to get down and dirty because I like to know all the details. And so for all of us who are like, who is Honey? Fabulous Honey. Who is Honey?
Who is Honey? This question, this question is such a, for me, it's always something that's just like, it throws me right in the deep end, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why it throws me so in the deep end is because for such a long time, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know how to answer that question. I didn't know who I was, you know? So, you know, it's like the labels or the, you know, do I answer that with the labels? Do I answer that with like my feeling body?
I just want to pause there for a second. We're already getting into the juicy stuff. I just want to take a moment because honestly, one of like the number one thing that women struggle with, and it's more often than not unknowingly, they don't even realize this, but they don't know who they are. I feel like we all get to a point where we have like an existential, that's not the word, but you know what I mean, crisis. And
I know.
like,
Yeah.
And like, who am I? And you're right. It's like, do I answer it with my labels, or do I answer it with, you know, what feels in my body? And so I actually want to ask you to not answer it with your labels and answer it with the body, because the other thing is that women are so in their head and so unembodied, like they're so disconnected. And that this is such an important process that every woman needs to go through. So please, if you could answer from the body.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, darn. Who's Honey? Honey is this deeply loving, deeply connected, very attuned being who has obviously a lifetime of experiences that have brought me to this point. Honey is now wholeness. She wasn't always whole. Honey is now a woman who trusts herself. She didn't always trust herself. And yeah, who's alive
And living.
and living, alive and living and loving, and yeah. So I think that's what's alive for me right now.
That's beautiful.
That's who I am.
What's possible for this, Honey?
There's a part of me that wants to say like fucking anything, like absolutely anything. I've been having some interesting conversations the last few days with many different people about the state of the world at the moment. And I think the state of the world feels very heavy and very limiting, and, you know, very, making,
Dense.
dense. It makes us want to just kind of like curl up and not expand into our potential. But I guess my experience, my desire, and also what I'm seeing both in myself and in clients and in, other people, it's like actually anything is possible. We just have to transcend those aspects of reality or of falsehood. Maybe it's not reality, transcending our own traumas, our own experiences, and these belief systems that have been implemented upon us so that we can expand.
I love this. I love this because I'm sure if I asked Honey a couple of years ago, I'm not sure how far back, the same question, what's possible for Honey, you probably would have given me some, realistic possibilities and, maybe like stretched it a little bit, but there would have been a lot of logic and it would have been very linear and very capped as well. Because I know for sure when women are disconnected from themselves, there is no infinite possibilities. Everything is capped by design. And so I love that you're now at this place where anything and everything is possible. And I'm reiterating this because there are so many women listening in who don't feel like that. And this is their permission to know that it's possible. And so I'm really excited to hear your journey of how you got to this place of feeling like infinite possibilities are available to you as a way to show other women what's possible too. Do you have like a starting point where there was like a pivotal moment where things started to shift and you embarked on the journey of where you are to now?
Interesting. I was thinking about this earlier today. It's like, what actually is my story? Where does this start? And yes, there's a whole story, as everyone has, like childhood, early childhood, teenage time, all of these things. I think really this story starts pretty much when I became a mom.
Oh, yes.
So that transition from maiden into mother, I knew for a long time that I didn't feel well, or I knew for a long time that I didn't feel aligned. I wasn't showing up in the world as the person who I wanted to be, but I had no idea of who that person should be, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. So for us to get to know you a little bit better and understand a little bit more about how you came to be where you are, was there a pivotal moment in your life where something occurred that everything changed after that moment?
Yeah. I think there have been a number of those kind of those turning point moments, those pivotal moments. But I was dropping into this question earlier today, and I was just thinking about this podcast and really dropping into like what actually is my story, and where is that pivotal moment? What has been the changing factors, like the biggest kind of moments. And I think probably the starting point of where I am now, the biggest shift came from the transition from maiden to mother. So this moment of stepping into, or being flung into motherhood, right? With no preparation. Nobody tells you
No, they do not.
There is such a there is such a lack of truth telling, I feel, about what it is to transition from maiden to mother in this day and age. It's all like, oh, is it blue? Is it pink? Oh my God, it's amazing. Congratulations. So cute. Nobody ever is like, yeah, you're going to lose all your fucking freedom. Not, like, you're not going to leave. You're going to have big bags under your eyes. You're never going to do, like, your sex life is going to be in the toilet, blah, 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 all of this stuff. Nobody says that to you.
No.
So or this has been my experience, when I got dropped into that, and my experience is, I was going to say unique, but probably not unique for many women. I was separated from family. I was separated from friends. My partner and I at the time had just arrived in a brand new city, in a brand new state in Australia. We'd moved up to Darwin in the Northern Territory. We had no social networks. We had no family connections, nothing. And I got pregnant 3 weeks later. And I mean, there's a story around that as well. But I think what's poignant for this conversation around like the shift and the poignant moment of change was after I had this beautiful baby in my arms. And I guess in the time that followed, the process of coming to terms with being a mother, coming to terms with everything that had happened or not happened for me in my childhood, all of the pain that I suffered, all of the, let's just call it suffering, let's call it adversity that I had gone through in my childhood, suddenly was staring me in the face. And I had to make a choice at that point. Am I going to continue the family legacy? Am I going to continue these generational cycles? Or am I going to change? Am I going to be the point of change? This is not at all where I thought this conversation was going to go, but it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. and really important, because I feel like most mothers, I know I certainly had the same. Girl, I delayed having children because of my childhood and how much I didn't want to carry on those cycles. So there are many women who are going to be leaning in on this conversation and saying, tell me more, because this is something I'm considering, or it's something they're embarking on and they're doing themselves, and they want to know that there are other sisters out there doing it too. So I'm glad this is where the conversation is going.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it is such a relevant conversation for this day and age, because we are such a global community now, and we don't have our village anymore, or some people do, the lucky ones, I suppose, do, but many of us do not. So, this is a conversation of like this is a conversation of the choice point between, continuing those old cycles, those old ways, and creating something new, something better for this next generation. But it's also a conversation of how we navigate those spaces in this world now, how we do it, so yeah. I think it's an important conversation.
It's big. It is big, because there's a lot more information, knowledge, understanding, case studies, data to back a lot of how we're moving forward in terms of the decisions we're making, the way that we're parenting, the way that we're having to reparent ourselves whilst learning how to be a parent to a newborn, how like navigating the conversations that we're having with our partners, or if we don't have partners, or, you know, how do we navigate conversations with family if they're involved, and then, you know, are they bringing in all these old cycles, and you're like, no, 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 we don't do that here. You know, there's so many pieces to manage and hold. And so for you, when you're holding this little baby, you're having this huge crisis point of like, how am I going to navigate this? It's like a this ends with me moment, or it's a I just go the easy route and just do what I know based off of how it was modeled to me.
Exactly.
And you've obviously chosen the not easy route. And so for you, and you were far away, right? So you had no support, and you were with your then partner. So possibly not in a, maybe you weren't in a super safe relationship, or like a stable relationship, I should say. Or maybe you were, but like, what made you choose to put you and your daughter first and break the cycles?
I can't even remember what it was, but I remember I'm a big journaler. I like journaling. And I remember this is way before I knew anything about NLP or anything about coaching or psychology or anything. And I remember writing in my journal, I'm just trying to get the picture of exactly what it was. It was like, oh, I'm trying to get it. It was essentially current. It's just left my brain. But essentially, I was observing within myself, and this is as as somebody with undiagnosed postnatal depression. I recognize now, looking back on that time. At that time, I didn't know. I was just like, I'm gonna like feed the baby and make the dinner and like change the nappies and clean the house and make sure hubby's happy and all the things. So I didn't know. I was just going forward. And I think this going forward is an important piece in this story as well. But at some point, I sat down and I wrote in my journal, and I could recognize, I could feel for the first time in myself that there was like this current state. That's what it was, current state, and that there was a desired state. And that for my whole life up to that point, I was just living in the program. I was living in the matrix of what I knew. I was following instructions. I had no autonomy. I let other people make my choices for me. Yeah. I'm just going to let that land, because I think that's really big for a lot of women.
Yep. And
what was massive about this moment is that it was like it was almost like I was observing this current timeline. And for the first time, I was like, actually, this is shit. That's not what I want. And I wrote in my journal, like, current state, desired state. And in that moment, in that little, piece of writing, it was like I just shifted my entire being. My entire being shifted towards like, I want to feel good. I want to live a life that I choose. I want to live a life that, feels aligned to whatever this future desired state is, because I couldn't even see it at that time. I couldn't see it. I just knew there was a better life available. There was a better, and I don't know about this word better, but there was a life out there that was more fulfilling. There was a life out there that made me actually feel good. And at that time, I didn't really feel anything. So it wasn't even like feeling good. It was just like feeling. That's what I want. I want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I
That's
think
really
that
big. That's really big because so many women
Mhm.
are numbing out on all their addictions, however it looks: drugs,
Yeah,
alcohol, sex, food, TV, reading, smut. That was one of my favorites. Um, you know,
reading much.
yeah, love the
I
smut.
love that.
Yeah, yeah. It was so much fun just to like, I would go through so many. I'm not even going to tell you how many I would go through. I don't read books anymore. I don't have time. Life is too good to read books at the moment.
Yeah.
And so we don't feel, which is why we're always in our head, which is why we're so critical, which is why we overanalyze everything, which is why we're such big thinkers, because we don't know how to feel. And so for you to say, I just want to feel, it's like, is this mic on? Ladies, when was the last time you genuinely like felt? And we don't feel too because we don't want to feel the disappointment. We don't want to feel the pain. We don't want to feel the suffering because it's big and it's a lot and it's heavy.
Yeah.
So,
But it's also life.
yes. Tell us more about those next few steps, right? Because feeling is obviously second nature to you now.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it is. Oh, God, the next few steps. I think the next few steps was like, I just went on this huge self-development journey. I found yoga. Actually, I found yoga a bit before I had my baby girl. But yeah, I really dived into yoga, into meditation, into mindfulness, um, into coaching, and got some really powerful results. Yes, it's true. I had some very big, massive transformation, massive, massive, massive. Um, and then what I noticed, with things like NLP coaching, mindset work, um, even meditation, mindfulness, all of these things, they're good. Don't get me wrong. Like, damn, that shit is good, right? And yes, you can get transformations from these things. And I did. I got huge transformation in my life. But what I noticed, I felt there was something missing. I felt there was something missing from those. And something that I noticed is that I would have these transformations in my mind, in my thinking,
I like where this is going. Yes,
but
yes.
the transformation didn't land in my life. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't, it didn't have a lasting effect. And that's because it wasn't embodied. Actually, I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday. It's like, it's like you can change your mind and you can you can become a positive thinker and you can, you can do a lot of work on your mindset. But if it's not embodied, if it's not put into action through the body, then it's delusion. Or it can be. It runs the risk of.
No, lay it out straight. Let's call it delusion. It is a
Yeah.
pet peeve of mine. I love that you were speaking to this.
Yeah. Right? It's like, oh, love and light, love and light, love and light, whatever. Yeah, cool. All right, love and light. But then live it, babe. And if you can't live it, then maybe it's not love and light. Maybe there's more work that you need to do. And so, yeah, then I kind of I got guided to explore. I actually I actually had an ayahuasca ceremony. I participated in my first ayahuasca ceremony. And everybody for my whole life had called me a healer. Everyone's like, oh, you're a healer. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm so broken. How can I possibly be a healer? And so a girlfriend invited me to this Aya ceremony and we sat, and I came just simply with the intention of like, am I a healer? And if so, what do I need to know? And, obviously after 9 hours of like vomiting and shaking, being extremely sexy, she came to me, the grandmother came to me and she said, "You are a healer." And now these days, I don't really like that terminology. I feel everybody is their own healer. Anyways, this is what came through. She said, "You are a healer, but first you need to heal yourself. You're going to get really sick." She said, "You're about to get really sick and you'll need to find your medicine. And that medicine will be the medicine that you take to the world."
I have full body tingles.
Same. It's huge. So that was the initiation right there. I've already done 6-7 years of like intense work, mind work, mindset, mental mindfulness, blah, blah, all of these things, which were great, but didn't create this lasting change. And then sure enough, 3 months after that ceremony, I got sick. I got really sick. I started experiencing pain, chronic pain for no apparent reason. And that pain still is here today, but to a much lesser extent, and only intermittently. At that time, it was like every day. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't push a shopping trolley. I couldn't lift my baby. I couldn't sweep a broom. God forbid. God forbid. The woman can't sweep a broom.
What will we do with her?
What will we do with her?
She's of no use to us now.
So, so I was just thrown head first into this journey of like, okay, what can I do? What do I need to do? What is my medicine? And I started participating in many, 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 I guess, different things. Ecstatic dance and contact dance and much more yoga and acro yoga and so many different things. And then finally, eventually, I found somatic work. And somatic work, for those who don't know, soma, it's this word somatic is based in the word soma, which is a Greek word for body. But it doesn't just mean body as in like this physical meat suit that we carry around with our spirit. It means it refers to the body and also the energetic charge that has landed in the body from every single experience that we've ever had. So it holds this understanding. So somatic work holds this understanding that I am not just I exist inside of these sites of experience, individual, one-on-one, collective, family, societal, etc. And inside of me, I hold many identities, which is why it was hard for me to answer that question at the beginning, right?
Yes.
We hold many identities. We hold many parts. And we hold many, 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 many experiences inside of this meat suit.
Yes.
So it's, my history has been in community development and advocacy work and things like this. So when I found this, I was like, "Ooh, okay, here's something that doesn't just, trick your mind into thinking differently. This is something that's like deeply attuning to your truth, the truth that sits in here and is alive in here, even when mind says love and light." Right?
Yes.
So, and it's about bringing both of those parts, both of those, head and heart, head and body, mind and body, into alignment or into coherence, really. So that was a little bit off track, and I'm just trying to
it's
think if there's anything more I need to add there.
yeah, definitely because you're going through, you're sharing the process of where you were to where you are now, and you did all the mindset work, and well, we know what happened there. And now you're sharing your embodiment experience and the difference. If you're able to share, what are some differences from when you were doing your mindset work and you were feeling like, oh, I feel good, I feel like I'm healing, and then what were some of the differences when you were doing your body, like the embodiment work and the somatic work, and you're like, oh, now I get it, now it's actually landing for me?
100%. Yeah. So I think it comes back to that moment where I wrote in my journal, current state and desired state. It's like when I was doing, when I did the mindset work and the meditation and all of these things, and I really want to make it clear that like those things are amazing. I definitely am not like poo-pooing on those at all.
Yes.
But it was like I would have this kind of cognitive shift. I would have this intellectual shift where I'm like, aha, I know something about myself. I know something about why I do that, or, whatever it is. But the same old behaviors would show up again and again under the same pressures. And this is the challenge of uh, simply intellectualizing our healing. It's not possible. It feels amazing when you're in it and you're like, oh, wow, I'm so smart. Wow, I just worked out things about myself and like click, 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 click. Great. I get why I'm like that from my childhood, and it was because of this and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't last. It doesn't show up in your life as like, yeah, that's the juice, It doesn't, the change is not, doesn't land compared to when I found somatic work. And I guess included in somatic work, or a part of somatic work, is nervous system work, because we are letting go, or we are working through these aspects of our personality or our belief systems or whatever that were literally holding onto us, that were literally sitting in us, sitting in me. And in doing so, healing trauma, healing those experiences from their root cause, which is, teaching the nervous system a new way of being. It's teaching the nervous system like, okay, that's gone now. It's not just like, oh, I understand it now. It's like, that's gone now. That's released now. And then I guess in doing so, it's like the nervous system, which manages behavior, our nervous system actually manages and the way we show up, our actions, our behaviors. So I guess the difference is that I started to show up differently in my life. I started to actually, physically, behaviorally, emotionally turn towards this desired state. And it was like step by step by step. Yes, it's slow. This is slow work. But every moment I was reparenting myself, or, integrating bits of shadow, or integrating trauma, or whatever it was. And each time I did that, it would show up, and I was able to show up in my life differently. So I think if I think now about the person that I was, I was speaking to someone yesterday, and I was kind of saying, if you met me back then, you wouldn't even know. If you met me then and you met me now, you wouldn't even know it was the same person, because I was so shy. I was so meek. I was so afraid to tell my truth. I was so out of my center. I was so in my mind. I was so dissociated. I was not here for most of my life, which is why it was easy for other people to tell me what to do and how to live my life. And dropping back into my sensuality through somatic work, that's really what it has taught me. It's taught me how to exist here in like this sensing, feeling, loving, experiencing body, this alive body. That's where the power is. That's where the power is.
Oh,
It's like,
yes.
how do I have better boundaries? Oh, I have better boundaries by actually feeling into myself and identifying what I want and don't want. How do I have better, more authenticity? Oh, I have that by noticing what's true for me in this moment. And the only way that you can do that is through your sensuality, becoming connected to your seven senses. Some people say that there's more. I say seven senses.
What are the seven senses?
So sight, smell, touch, hearing. What did I say?
Touch.
Sight,
Yeah.
smell, touch, hearing, taste, interoception, which is the sense of what's happening inside of my body. So
Like
not just
actual visceral, like my heart's palpitating kind of thing, or I feel knots in my stomach. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Good one. Yeah, exactly. And then proprioception, which is this understanding or this awareness of like where my body is in space and time, how I'm moving through space. And all of those things together, the combination of those seven senses, I believe is fucking empowerment for women.
Yes.
I can't say for men, maybe also for men, but it's like, that's the shit right there. That's where we find our power. And, I was speaking earlier about the craziness of the world that we live in at the moment. And you also were mentioning like how we're just attached to our devices, our vices, let's call it that way.
Yeah.
Screens, Netflix, chocolate, alcohol, drugs, kids. Kids also can be a way of dissociating. It's like I lose myself, I become the martyr, and it's all about the child. So like I feel I need to name that just briefly.
Yes.
But the world that we live in, it's like it teaches us not to be here. It teaches us not to feel. It teaches us like everything's just too much. Like, so just don't worry about it. Just like drink your wine after work and like sit down in front of Netflix and everything will be all right. The world's going to keep turning. But I think a lot of women are waking up to this feeling of like, wait, something's not right here, or this sense of like, there's more. I want my life to feel as good as it looks. I've got the fucking Temu, shop like a billionaire. Yeah, but I want to live like a billionaire. I want to live that billionaire feeling, and the way, in my experience, the way to into that life that feels as good as it looks is through these seven senses, taking back our power, taking back it's like I'm choosing to be here inside of my body, inside of my life. And once I'm here, now I have choice. Now I have this ability to show up fully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you able to elaborate on senses 6 and 7? And I call them 6 and 7 because I don't remember the proper terminology that you shared. Because everyone's familiar with, our 5 senses, right? But I feel like the sense 6 and 7 are the ones that we're severely disconnected from and completely unaware of. And it's like where the magic source is. Can you deepen that a little bit more?
Yeah. Yes, I can. As in an explanation or
Something tangible so that women, like a story or an example of what they are, and maybe an example of what it looks like when it's off, and then an example of what it looks like when it's on, so that women can go, oh yeah, mine's definitely not on. Yeah.
Yeah. So for some reason, what's coming through for me right now is this idea of slowness, because I think the world is asking us to move very quickly. And when we move so quickly, we actually can't attune to ourselves, right? Obviously, slowing down in any way, stop and smell the roses. There's so many like funny old school sayings that are really somatic. They really speak to like this sensory experience that I feel a lot of us have forgotten. Stop and smell the roses, you know. Let me just feel into it and I'll get back to you. These kinds of things. So if we slow down, the senses become more alive, right?
Yes.
But there are other, I guess, sensory experiences that we can tap into as well. So the thing about interoception, number 6. Interoception is this connection, this connection to like what is happening on my insides. So you might feel, when you're nervous, you might feel like jittery in your gut, right? Or when you've got, I don't know, last week I had a job interview. A couple of weeks ago, I had a job interview and I noticed the shoulders just before the interview. It's like my shoulders were crunched up against my ears like this, and this, I guess, awareness of like what your muscles are doing, what your internal organs are doing, what your viscera is doing. That is a really telltale way. It's a really clear way, actually, that the body speaks to us and communicates to us what's happening in this like brain body connection, because often these experiences are nervous system related. So if I'm going into a scary quote unquote scary experience, like a job interview or something like this, my shoulders creeping up, that's telling me something. That's telling me I'm scared, or I'm bracing for the worst. That's because there's a history there. There's a body story there, right?
Yes.
So as we start to be able to, I guess, become aware of these interoceptive moments, these interoceptive experiences, the gut churning, the shoulders tightening. Some people, clench their fists, or a lot of women kind of tense through the hips. A lot of us, for whom it has been unsafe to be on the planet, we have this experience of like, and just turn the thing down a little bit. Actually, I'll just sit up. So we have this experience in our hips where we kind of pull in and up. It's like we're pulling up from the earth, because the earth wasn't a safe place to be, to live, to exist. Right. And so, so that's a little explanation of, go back here. That's a little explanation of number 6 of the interoception. I'll just pop this back on. I got all like saucy up in the camera there with me hips.
I love it.
I guess the point of this is like our external circumstances, our external senses, these 5 senses that we all know about. That's kind of a way for the outside world to come into us. It's a way for us to like experience the outside world, right? Interoception is a way for us to experience our internal world. Same with proprioception. And once we begin to attune to our internal world, we have, again, choice. I'm a lot about choice and autonomy and control. So, we have more choice. We open up choice points for ourselves. It's like, oh, I'm noticing blah, blah, blah. Okay. From this point, I have the choice. I can either take some deep breaths. I can, I can take care of my needs such that this feeling, this internal experience dissipates. I can go and speak to a friend. I can ask for help. I can do whatever I need to actually, I don't want to use the word fix, but it's like to give this part, this thing that's alive inside of me right now, what it needs. And I think for a lot of us, for a lot of women, it's like, we didn't actually get what we needed. We didn't actually get that.
No.
So,
and we're also taught to numb it out. Like, we behave a certain way. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't, we present, we're going for perfection here, ladies. Like, and so
exactly.
All those experiences that you were talking about, feeling what you're feeling in the body, most women, when we feel that discomfort, it's like, oh, like I need to go have a cigarette, or I need a coffee, or like abort. And it's like, no. It's a signal. Like, your body's communicating something to you. And it's actually a really beautiful opportunity to completely shift the way you navigate the rest of your life and actually experience more joy, more satisfaction, more abundance, more happiness, more ease, flow, all those beautiful things that people talk about. And you think it's a load of nonsense. It's because those people, those women especially, are doing this work that you talk about, and they're actually sitting in that discomfort to figure out how they can help themselves. You don't have to sit in it and stay in it. Like, we just got to figure out what it is, and then, okay, what's my plan of action? What's my next step?
Exactly. I think it's not, and this is, okay.
Coming in hot, ladies.
It's not even that you have to sit in it and stay in it. I think that's, there's a lot of fear out there about doing somatic work, and people are just like, I don't want to be in my body. Like, no, there's so much fear about it. And it's like, any good somatic practitioner, the thing is about somatic work is that it's very deeply trauma informed. So personally, I will never take a client into a space and be like, fucking feel it, bitch. Just sit in it, sit in the fire until it, whatever. It's like, no, it's not like that. It's like, we go there. It's called pendulation, actually. So there's a whole, I guess, theory behind it, but it's like you do not have to sit in the fire of it and feel it all. You don't have to do that alone, and you don't have to do that, you don't have to push yourself and there's a lot of people that say like feel it to heal it. It's like, yeah, feel it to heal it, but like you don't have to feel it all at once. We can do that in like really small, tender, loving, bite-sized pieces. And when you say enough is enough, like enough, I can't, I don't want to, I've done 3 seconds of feeling and that's enough. It's like, okay, cool. Well, that's enough. We'll come out of it, you know? So again, developing this sense of like, you have the choice, but yes, feeling is healing.
Yes, you just don't
Feeling
have to do
is
it all
healing.
at once. And
Exactly. Yeah.
the thing is, as well, is you build up resilience and you build up your ability to hold more. So you can't feel it all at once because you will have a nervous breakdown. Like you really do have to do it in bite-sized pieces, but the more you do it, the bigger those pieces get, and then you move through it faster, and the process is a lot more gentle the more practiced you are. So it's having someone like yourself guiding you initially, teaching you, showing you, holding you, allows so many women to then be able to continue doing that work for themselves forever and ever. Amen.
Forever and ever. Amen.
Yeah, which makes us self-sufficient women, living extraordinary lives, being able to navigate whatever life throws at us, and then be able to like skyrocket past it and continue to tap into that limitlessness, which is super fucking exciting. So I love the work that you're doing.
And self-sufficient, like it's interesting you mentioned this word self-sufficient. I would actually challenge that. I actually want to challenge that because our healing spaces and our like self-development spaces, there's so much, because we are an individualistic culture now, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, because it's like we're humans, we actually need each other. We actually need, our family, we actually need our tribe. And the the thing about self-sufficiency is that I think it's been fed to us, but I don't think it's truth. I don't think it's I don't think it's real. I don't think it's really what we need. Yes, we heal as individuals, but number one, the more you heal as an individual, the more or to use your word, capacity, like to building that capacity, right? And this is again a nervous system idea. It's like the more you work through those things, the more you feel those things, the more capacity you develop to be to feel whole, to come back to yourself, but also to be authentic, and also to trust other people again. And in doing that, we don't need to be self-sufficient. We don't need to be healed and whole and whatever on our own. We actually open ourselves up. We soften into my community or my whatever partner, my whatever it is that's in your space. And so yeah, I think it's I just wanted to pick up on that.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that clarification. And it's true. It's so true. We're so conditioned to figure it out for ourselves and deal with it ourselves quietly without telling anyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're very disconnected from community and tribe and village, especially as mothers. I think the craziest thing, and it pisses me off, something fierce. It's something that I'm passionate about. and I do it all the time, but even as mothers, you know, motherhood is a community in and of itself, and mothers do not encourage and compliment other mothers. Like, mothers don't reinforce that motherhood bond. They don't say to their friends or other mothers that they meet, you're doing an amazing job. Like, it's hard. You're doing great. Please know that you're doing great. Like, our families, our grandmothers, our mothers, our aunties, they don't tell you. They're like, yeah, it's hard. You just do what you got to do. And it's like, no, 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 no. So I love that, taking away that responsibility of self-sufficiency, leaning into a community. And gosh, wouldn't it be lovely to lean into like that motherhood community?
Oh my God.
I'm passionate. I tell every mother I see, I'm like, you're doing an amazing job. Please know you're doing an amazing job.
Yes.
I love
Oh,
that.
we need more like you.
Yes.
We need more people sharing that. Yeah, sharing that compassion, you know, bringing that compassion through into
Definitely.
into conversations with other mothers. And I think this goes back to, you know, the way that women are conditioned to be competitive with other women and all of all of those things.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, to the point where even when we are in our darkest moments, even when we are in the throes of motherhood, we can't come back to each other and just say like, you're doing a great job, you're amazing. Yeah, I'd love to bring that through more.
Yes. Just for all the mothers listening, Honey and I would like to let you know, we'd like to remind you that you are a fucking powerhouse. You're an extraordinary mother. We see you, we honor you, and thank you for doing all the amazing work that you're doing.
Super mama, yes, queen.
I love that. I love it. Okay, now, can you tell me more about Sense 7, which is pro something? Proprioception, because you were explaining it and it wasn't, I was like, I don't quite know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So I think I'm trying to think if there's like a story that I have around this. There's nothing coming through. So Sense 7, proprioception, is your own ability to navigate the world from your place, not from things in the external, if this makes sense. So I know, you know, especially these days when we're all so in our front body because we're used to screens and things like this, but also, you know, outside of that context, women who have experienced trauma and adversity are very attuned to what's happening outside. Hypervigilance, right?
Yeah.
Hypervigilance. And again, the word hyper independence is coming through just probably from that last conversation that we had. But hypervigilance, being attuned to like the small changes in the room or in the tone of voice or you know, in the weather outside or the shades of you know, shades of light or whatever it is. We're very highly attuned. And also as mothers, right? This goes into overdrive when you're a mother. It's like, I don't even exist anymore. I'm fully focused out there. I'm fully focused on like what's happening with the toddler. Okay, the baby needs milk soon. There's a dirty nappy somewhere. It's all outward. That's first of all very exhausting.
Yes, it is.
You're like, yes, you're telling me. That's very exhausting, but also it's very disconnecting because again, and this is where the martyr again comes from. The martyr is always focused outwards. She's giving herself away. And I think probably a lot of the women listening are going to understand this in their own ways. Also in my own life, I've given myself away in far too many ways to far too many people, far too many men, far too many employers, far too many clients, far too many everything. Actually, not far too many clients because I've kind of got this now, but the experience of proprioception is the experience of coming back to the self, coming back to the body, and simply noticing what is alive in here, but also it's like, how do you feel, And I think back in the days when somebody actually asked, how do you feel? We would have tapped into number 6 and number 7, interoception and proprioception. How do I actually feel? Oh, right now, I feel that I haven't taken a breath in a while. I feel there's tension across my forehead. I feel my back's a bit sore, whatever it is. And so, so proprioception is like this ability to tap into where my body is in space and time and how I move through the world. So I do a lot of work with my clients around back body, because when we're dysregulated, when we're upregulated, when we're high in stress, when we've, got everything going on, we come here right into our front body, like often right here in the third eye, but we're very front body orientated. It's like, what's the next thing? Where do I need to go now? Who needs my attention? This forward action, right? And what I do with a lot of my clients in the first sessions is like, we're just going to take a breath. You can do it right now with me.
Yeah.
Taking a breath through the nose and just noticing what it feels like to be in your back body. Maybe noticing the chair behind you. Maybe noticing the pressure of your weight on the backs of your legs. Maybe noticing like your calves kind of pressing into the office chair there that you're sitting on. Just dropping in. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
you don't really spend much time paying attention to that stuff.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And this is about how women move through the world. Am I choosing? Am I moving through the world in this rush mode? Am I already thinking about the next 10 things that I need to do? Or am I moving through the world in my center, from my center? You know what I mean? Am I like putting one foot in front of the other, and do I feel balanced, or do I feel like I'm falling forward? And the opposite can be true for people who are a little more avoidant or whatever. We can kind of pull back and, have this experience. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah, proprioception is really paying attention to how we move through the world, how we navigate the challenges of our daily lives, how we are showing up, and how we want to show up.
Yes.
Somebody said to me recently, all healing is intention plus awareness. And I've been trying to disprove that in my mind for quite some time. This was about 6 months ago. And I can't disprove it. I actually can't disprove it. It's like, in my experience, it's like current state, desired state. My intention is there. My intention is go that way. And then awareness. Am I going that way? No, I'm not. Okay, well, I'm making the choice now to realign, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that. Like, I love the simplicity of that. Um, that as I said before, it's like you don't need a healer. We don't need to go to the shaman or the, the chiropractor or the whatever or this or that. It's like we all have our own healer inside of us. And all you need to do is set an intention and then align your actions with that intention. And yes, you can bring in the shaman. Yes, you can bring in the chiropractor. Yes, you can bring in this, the sensuality educator, whatever, to support you in that journey. But those people are not healers. You are your own healer.
Yes. This is what I love. This is what I wish for all women, to be able to access their own healer and then choose whether or not they bring in people to support them, because I love bringing in people to support me because it expedites the process and you feel held, you have a connection, you build your village, you build your community, you're seen, you know what I mean? It does so much for you as a person. But then also there are many times when I enjoy doing it for myself. So like having women have the best of both worlds is very exciting.
Absolutely.
For the woman who is like, okay, so maybe I want to know a little bit more about this, and she wants to explore doing the work that you do, how do you support women, or how can women work with you at the moment?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting that. It's not always easy to plug yourself.
I will help.
So at the moment, I am working with about 4 clients at a time. That's 4 or 5 clients at a time, and that's a very, um, I guess, embodied choice that I have made, because for me, it's about quality over quantity. I really love to functionally help women. I love to actually support and help women. There will be a online course coming very soon. That's likely going to be a course for couples who are interested in cultivating more sensuality within their relationships. So if that's out by the time this recording becomes available, I can give it to you and you can put it in the show notes. There will also be events. There's events coming up. I teach yoga once a week. I also teach sensuality masterclasses for women and for couples. So people can check my Facebook for that, or Instagram. And then, I do work one-on-one as well with primarily with women. Sometimes I work with some men who feel the call, but it's primarily with women. And that's a 3-month container. At this moment, I'm looking at maybe extending that to a 6-month container. But at the moment we have that available. And inside of the coaching container, we are exploring, I guess, 3 different pillars, or we work through 3 different pillars. The first is nervous system expansion and nervous system health. The second is movement medicine. So we move in ways that allow things that have been maybe stuck or unprocessed, or expressions that have been truncated to be expressed, and therefore allowing the body more of a sensual experience. And then we do integrative somatic reprogramming, which is a little bit like timeline therapy, but more embodied. So yeah, so that's kind of how people, like, what I'm offering at the moment. Um, and yeah, I guess people can find me through the website, which is t-crs.org. So that stands for the Center for Regenerative Sensuality.org. Or yeah, Facebook or Instagram. And I'm hoping also in the next few weeks, maybe even next week, to start a YouTube channel where I'm going to be running bed yoga, which is super exciting. I'm really excited for that. So everything that I'm offering is underpinned by, I guess, some key pillars or key, I suppose, elements of my work, which are, as I was mentioning earlier, the pendulation. So having this choice to like go into the thing and then come out of the thing, into the thing and then out of the thing, like a pendulum. Titration, which refers to that step-by-step process. In science, you titrate one substance into another through a very slow drip. So titration is like the slow drip. Slowing down, so leaning into slowness, leaning into our soft edges and our hard edges, and curiosity. So yeah, those are kind of the underpinning, I suppose, elements of everything that I do. And yeah, it's a really juicy, exciting exploration whenever we go there. So
I love that.
how people can find me.
Yeah, I'll put everything in the show notes so they'll find you. And is there, for someone who's curious and they're like, I wouldn't even know where to begin, is there like a really small practice or a contemplation that they could take away from this podcast and start applying or contemplating right now to support the embodiment process or support like the work that you help them with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. We have talked a lot about this, like interoception and proprioception.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose, well, yeah, even like just the seven senses. So I suppose I would love to invite women who are interested. If you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling like you're popping out of your experience here, if you're dissociating into whatever addictions or children or thoughts or whatever it is, I would like to invite women back into their bodies, slow down, take a breath, and simply notice what you notice. It might be a smell, it might be something that you see in your environment, though the vision is a strong sense, so it can be good to close that one off. It might be dropping into that interoceptive experience, noticing what's happening inside of the body. Is there a tightness? Is there a tension? Is there contraction? And then also noticing, where is there ease? Where is there softness? Where is there a sense of flow or openness? And not making stories about it, just letting it be. Just let it be exactly what it is. You can get curious. You can call me. You can text me on Facebook, send me a DM. I always love to just, chat about these things with people, or jump on the website and flick an email through. If that curiosity is really sparked, then that's a great way.
I love this. It's always about exploration, isn't it? So I love this invitation for them to explore. I love that. Thank you. And to wrap up this fabulous conversation, which there's so much more, like we didn't even touch on the sensuality. So there could be like another podcast in the making. Do you have any final words or anything you feel like you want to share with the women that are tuning in?
I think maybe, yeah, finishing with a connection to the sensuality. It's like we as women have been taught and told and made to believe that our sensual experience, and I'm not talking about sexual, I'm talking about your seven sense experience, is wrong.
Yes.
It's not wrong. It is your everything. It is your power. It is your intuition. It is your authenticity. It is your connection to self and to source and to Mama Gaia.
Yes, I love
All deeply entwined in your sensuality as a woman and your intimacy and your relationships. So take back your power. That's the invite. Take back your power. Own it. Love it. Have compassion for it. And be here now, because here is fucking where it's at.
Yeah.
Here
I love that. Here is
Yeah.
where it's at.
Yeah.
Come back down.
Here's the joy, and I'm not talking about here in the heart, because there's stuff that goes on in people's hearts, right? I'm just talking about here in the present moment, in the body, in your sensuality. When you slow down enough to feel, then you can slow down, then you can begin to heal.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your beautiful wisdom and story.
Thank you so much for having me. This is my first ever podcast, so I have been quite nervous. But yeah, I hope that this message is, I don't know, reaching some women's ears, and it connects in a way that gives you an aha realization of like, okay, actually I can have choice. I can have autonomy. I can choose to be here. I can be in this world. I can be in this body. Yeah.
I love that. What a beautiful invitation for women. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for listening.
Thank you for being here, gorgeous woman, for rising with us, remembering with us, and refusing to shrink inside a world that benefits from your silence. If this episode moved you, cracked you open, or reminded you of who the hell you are becoming, share it with a woman who is ready to rise too. I want to invite you to follow, subscribe, and leave a rating so this message becomes too loud, too wild, and too undeniable to be ignored. The movement grows because of women like you. Women who choose truth over comfort, liberation over obedience, and voice over disappearance. You can connect with me, Samantha Sanford, at Rebel Matriarch, and all links to our guest are in the show notes below. Until next time, stay rooted, stay rebellious, and remember, the world changes when women refuse to disappear.